Chapter 25, Mitchell Worth. I never should have eaten that chocolate chip cookie without counting the chips first. I'll bet there were 13. Why else would my mother, who supposedly loves me, force me to go back to school? How can I explain to her all the dangers that are waiting for me out there? Every morning I'm terrified I won't make it 10 feet from the house before Luke and Jaeger are all over me. They'll try to make me tell them about the fort, which is never going to happen. But if they get mad enough, they'll turn me into the police for watering Dr. Breckenridge's plants. Mom will be sorry that she has to come and visit me in jail where we have to talk through bulletproof glass and that phone thingy. She better not bring chocolate chip cookies, that's for sure. On Wednesday, my luck goes from bad to even more bad. I walk into school and Mrs. Beauregard reminds me that I missed the big state test when I was out. Well, guess what? The retake is today. No fair, I protest. How can I have a test already? I didn't have a chance to study. It's not that kind of test, Mitchell, she informs me. But what if I don't know the answers? There are no wrong answers, she assures me in a soothing tone. Don't believe it. There are always wrong answers to everything. That's why my papers always come back with big red X's all over them. School is such a scam. They trick you until your head spins. Like, normally, I'm begging to get out of class. Now they've got me begging to stay in so I don't have to take this test, which sounds really hard. And they won't even give me that. Mrs. Beauregard walks me down the hall to the library to make sure that I get there. That shows what she knows. I'm not going to run away from school. Luke and Jaeger could be out there waiting to scoop me up. There's already another kid in the test-taking area. Wouldn't you know it, it's Ricky. Hi, Mitchell. What are you doing here? I demand. You weren't out sick last week. I'm taking the admissions test for the new magnet school, he supplies. I wheel on Mrs. Beauregard. You lied. I can't pass a magnet school test. She's starting to sound impatient. It's all right, Mitchell. His test is different than yours. Great. Now I can't even copy off the smart kid. Mrs. Beauregard sets me up with my paper, says the librarian will be checking up on us regularly, and then leaves me there filling in ovals. There's a buzz of low conversation in the library, which is never good for me. It's like I'm trying to listen to everybody at the same time, which makes my brain hurt and slows down my oval filling. Eventually, I get so confused that I have to talk to drown out the other voices. It's like an urgent need, even when the only person to talk to is Ricky. I wasn't really sick. He stops writing in his test booklet and whispers, So why were you faking? Maybe it's because Ricky isn't really my friend, but I just confess. They're blackmailing me. Who is? Luke and Jaeger. They caught me doing something bad, and now they're threatening to get me arrested. That captures his attention. Arrested? It drops a sharp shh from the librarian, and we return to our test papers. A class enters to return laptops to a rolling cart. Evan spies us and sidles over. Mitchell's a criminal, Ricky informs him in a low voice. I am not, I hiss. I just might have to go to jail, that's all. For what? Evan asks in amazement. Well, if you must know, Luke and Jaeger caught me watering my plants. Ricky is mystified. What's illegal about watering plants? Evan snickers. You're going to magnet school and you haven't figured it out yet? They're not his plants, and he doesn't use real water. I desperately signal for Evan to zip his lip, but he goes right ahead and blabs about me peeing on Dr. Breckenridge's beloved herb garden. He tells the whole story with me sitting right there, even though it's as plain as the nose on your face that Ricky is my enemy. He might even be my arch enemy, except Luke and Jaeger are that. Ricky looks stunned for a second, and then he starts to laugh out loud, which makes me even more humiliated. Shh! And now the librarian is looking right at us. Ricky and I bury our noses in our tests. Nobody goes to jail for peeing on a garden, Ricky murmurs when the librarian turns his back. Mitchell, don't worry about Yeager talking to the police. A guy like that doesn't go near cops. He's hoping they forget he even exists. I feel like a giant weight has been lifted off my chest. I feel like I just stepped on a crack, but Mom's back is totally fine. I feel like I was locked in a dungeon and Ricky, the outsider, has handed me a key. I can go back to the fort, I exclaim. Evan turned serious. That's what I came to tell you guys. CJ got ambushed by my brother and Yeager in the woods last night. Is he okay? Ricky asks in alarm. Well, he got away, but he's pretty scratched up from running through the trees. Here's the thing. He says those guys couldn't have been more than a football field away from the fort. And you know what that means. That's enough. The librarian snatches up Ricky's booklet and pencil and leads him away from our table. You're going to take this test in the conference room. I can't suppress a satisfied smirk. This might be the first time that the magnet school kid ever got in trouble. Evan's grave expression reminds me that there's nothing to smile about. Luke and Yeager are getting close.